Hadn't Bikram promised the sage that he would bring Betal's body? So he again reached the tamarind tree and bringing the ghost down, he carried it across the shoulders and began his journey. He walked silently so that Betal would not escape again. But Betal started narrating yet another story. Vishakadatta was the king of a big city. A rich trader called Chandragupta lived in the same city. The king had issued an order that no man could have more than one wife. Nobody could marry some other person's wife. Anybody found guilty was to be punished. Chandragupta was a bachelor, but once he met an extremely beautiful girl in a fair. He fell in love with her and decided to marry her. On reaching home, Chandragupta asked his servants to find out where she lived and what was her name. The servants returned a few days later with information about a girl. Her name was Munimanjari. She was the daughter of another rich merchant, Madhav Chandra, of the same city. Chandragupta sent one of his close friends to Madhav Chandra's house with a marriage proposal. But by the time Madhav Chandra had already fixed up his daughter's marriage to a boy called Jaya Chandra. When he heard of this, Chandragupta was very upset. Having loved Munimanjari very deeply, he decided not even to think of marriage to any other girl. When Munimanjari heard of Chandragupta's love for her, she wrote him a letter. I am helpless, she explained in the letter. I have to abide by my father's decision, but I will come and see you after my marriage is over. Chandragupta felt somewhat happy on seeing the letter. Munimanjari's marriage with Jayachandra was a grand affair. She was a very honest girl, so without hiding anything, she told Jayachandra about Chandragupta. Pleased with her honesty, her husband allowed her to visit Chandragupta. Unescorted, she left for his house. On the way, a thief who wanted to rob her of all her jewelry stopped her. Munimanjari pleaded with his. Please, let me go now. I promise you that I will hand over the jewelry on my way back. The thief believed her and allowed her to proceed. It was dark when Munimanjari reached Chandragupta's house. He was shocked and angry at seeing her. He scolded her. How can a girl, and that too a married girl, come to me at such a late hour? Moreover, don't you know about the king's order? It's an offense on our part to meet like this. If he sees us now, he will impose death penalty on us. Stunned by Chandragupta's attitude, Munimanjari at once left the place. The thief was waiting for her on the way. He was happy to see her again, but at the same time, he was curious to know why she was walking the streets of the city at night. Munimanjari told the thief all about herself. The thief took pity on her and told her, You are very honest. I will not steal anything from you. Instead, I will escort you to your house. Munimanjari reached home and told her husband about what transpired between herself and Chandragupta. But Jayachandra didn't believe her. He threw her out of the house. Feeling distressed and helpless, she committed suicide. Betal ended his narration here and asked Bikram, Bikram, you have heard the story with rapt attention. Now decide and tell me immediately who is the most noble of these four persons. Was it Munimanjari who ended her life, or was it her husband who had agreed to send her to Chandragupta, or the thief who without robbing her sent her away, or was it Chandragupta? If you know the answer, still prefer to remain silent. Your head will split into pieces. Be aware. Bikram replied calmly, Betal, a sacrifice made without selfish motives is the greatest sacrifice. Judge this yourself. Chandragupta didn't accept Manimandari, fearing the king's punishment, and her husband doubted her and didn't want her back. Manimandari was truthful. This created an unbearable situation for her. She committed suicide while this had selfish motives. Bikram continued to explain. It was the thief who was the most noble of these four persons. He could have easily robbed her, but he let her go without any selfishness on his part. Bikram, said Betal in an appreciative tone, I like your judgment, but you have talked, so I am going back to the tree. Saying so, Betal flew back to the tamarind tree. Since Bikram was determined to hand over Betal to the sage, he dashed towards the tree again.